Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, where hunting meets wildlife. Today, we travel to Germany, where the countryside is under siege. Wild boars, smarter and more ferocious than ever, are ravaging farmland and threatening entire communities. But the experienced hunters are undeterred. This isn't just a hunt, it's a fight for balance. Let's find out. Stick around for the full story. And if you're into real-life hunting missions and wildlife showdowns, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. These weren't just hunts. They were acts of defense, a battle between man and nature with real stakes. Wild boars aren't your average game. They're smart, quick, and dangerously unpredictable. Blink, and they're gone, or worse, charging. Hunting them isn't just about skill. It's about timing, precision, and nerves of steel. One wrong move can turn the tables in an instant. It's a high-stakes game filled with ambushes, adrenaline-fueled pursuits, and edge-of-your-seat action. The field turned into a battlefield as Kevin's hunting crew sprang into action. With years of experience behind them, the team moved like clockwork, every rifleman locked in, scanning the terrain for the slightest sign of movement. Then chaos broke loose. A group of wild boars burst from the tree line, charging across the open field in tight formation. They had no idea they were walking straight into an ambush. The crack of rifles shattered the silence, and several hogs went down instantly. The rest scattered in confusion, vanishing into the brush. But for the hunters, that was just the start of the chase. At the same time, Jay was racking up more kills. While keeping a close eye on a thick patch of trees, he spotted shadows slipping through the underbrush. Instinct took over. He raised his rifle and fired in rapid succession, 3 hogs down in just moments. The immediate danger was dealt with, but everyone knew it wasn't over. Near the tree lean, another shooter added to the count with a single clean shot, dropping a boar mid-escape. As snowflakes began to drift down, the situation grew more intense. Hungry and bold, more boars emerged from the woods, tearing into the fields with reckless fury. They weren't just foraging, they were a force of destruction. Driven to stop the growing devastation, the hunters regrouped and pushed forward once more. From across the valley, one of them spotted a lone boar making its way along a ridge. Without hesitation, he took aim and squeezed the trigger. The hog collapsed into the brittle grass below. Meanwhile, another marksman tracked a boar camouflaged in the brush. He stayed patient, lining up the shot just right. One well-placed bullet, and it was over before the animal even knew it was being watched. Across the region, fertile farmland is under siege. Wild boars tear through crops overnight, leaving behind millions in damage. But the hunters aren't backing down. They track these destructive animals straight to their strongholds, ready to stop the threat at its source.
Waiting for the perfect moment.
Hunting at its core is about more than pulling a trigger. It's about responsibility, conservation, and respecting the balance of nature. These men hunters, they're stewards of the land, protecting what feeds us all. Every mission is a reminder that wildlife management takes skill, patience, and purpose. If you've enjoyed this journey, make sure to stick with us here at Northwoods Pursuit. We got more real-world hunts, survival stories, and powerful lessons from the wild coming your way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's next. Hey there, and welcome to Northwoods Pursuit. If you followed the hunting scene last year, especially in 2024, you know it was packed with action. But let's be honest, a lot of folks missed some of the wildest, most unforgettable moments from the Great American Wild Boar Hunt, the country's premier boar hunting showdown. Wondering what you missed? We've got you covered. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and help us get to 1,000 strong. Your support keeps this adventure alive. Thanks for being part of the pursuit. In the heat of the recent wild boar hunting competition, hunters had plenty of chances to prove themselves. But with adrenaline pumping and nerves running high, many missed key shots, some out of sheer distraction, others from pressure. And when it comes to wild boars, a missed shot isn't just a lost opportunity. It can turn dangerous fast. These animals are tough, unpredictable, and not afraid to charge when threatened. To enter the big leagues, hunters must be at least 25 years old and have 3 full seasons of experience under their belt. But skill alone isn't enough. Strict regulations are in place to keep everyone safe and protect sensitive ecosystems. Hunting is off limits in national parks, conservation zones, and anywhere near residential areas. Breaking these rules isn't cheap. Violators can face fines up to $8,000 and lose their license for 2 years. These guidelines aren't just red tape. They're essential for maintaining safety and preserving the wild spaces we all value. Because visibility drops significantly at night, U.S. hunting regulations require all nighttime boar hunts to be conducted in teams of 3 to 5. This team approach isn't just about strategy, it's about safety. Sharing responsibilities like spotting, tracking, and communication helps reduce risks in unpredictable conditions. In desert-based competitions, hunters are also allowed to use off-road vehicles, reaching speeds up to 40 miles per hour. While this adds speed and excitement, hunting from a moving vehicle demands serious control, sharp aim, and solid balance to stay accurate under pressure. It's high-speed hunting with real stakes, and it's not for the faint of heart. Among the most intense and thrilling challenges in American boar hunting is going after wild pigs with a bow and arrow. To pull it off, hunters need to close the distance, usually within 20 to 30 yards, requiring pinpoint precision, steady nerves, and plenty of patience. According to leading hunting groups, approaching without proper cover almost always backfires. Wild boars have razor-sharp senses and are quick to pick up on even the slightest movement, turning your shot into a missed opportunity before you even draw the string. To overcome the challenge of getting close without being detected, many hunters turn to a tried-and-true tactic, hunting blinds. These camouflage tents, typically around 25 to 30 square feet, comfortably fit 2 to 3 people and offer a serious advantage in the field. By staying hidden and out of sight, hunters can wait patiently for the perfect moment to strike, often catching wild boars completely off guard. It's a smart way to boost both accuracy and success rates. But human eyes and instincts only go so far. That's where hunting dogs come in. With their powerful noses and sharp tracking skills, these dogs are essential for finding wild boars tucked deep in the brush. In the sprawling wetlands of Florida and Louisiana, it's not uncommon to see up to 130 hounds working with hunters, sniffing out boars that would be nearly impossible to spot otherwise. When it comes to navigating thick terrain, no tool beats a well-trained dog. Hunters also play a critical role in keeping their dogs safe during the chase. That's why many rely on GPS tracking collars to monitor their dog's location in real time. This tech not only helps prevent the dogs from straying into dangerous terrain, but also allows hunters to act fast if something goes wrong. It's a smart, responsible way to protect their four-legged partners in the field. As the tournament wraps up, it highlights a bigger picture: the U.S. government's ongoing commitment to hunter safety and sustainable wildlife management. So what do you think? Are America's top hunters doing enough to control the wild boar population? Got an idea to make it even better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you think Japan's approach is working, just type 1 below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more wild, adrenaline-pumping videos of hunters taking on invasive species across the country. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. As a professional hunter, I've chased wild boars across the globe, but nothing compares to autumn in Europe. Beneath golden forest canopies, massive boars roam, destroying farmlands and pushing farmers to the edge. Today, my team and I are back in action, working to control this growing threat. Wild boars aren't just a nuisance, they're wrecking entire harvests and livelihoods. That's why more regions now rely on strategic hunts to protect food supplies and rural life. Love real-world hunting and conservation stories? Hit that subscribe button and join us here at Northwoods Pursuit. We hit the forest at dawn, fully loaded with gear and ready for action. For this hunt, I went with my Merkel RX Relic, paired with a cutting-edge ET3 Tactical RDN3X scope. Less than an hour after setting up, I spotted movement. A group of wild boars burst from the underbrush, startled and fast. These weren't your average pigs. They were massive, winter-hardened beasts with shaggy coats and thick tusks that looked like something out of a nightmare. Thanks to the scope, I had solid control at both mid and long range. One by one, I squeezed the trigger. My shots echoed through the forest as the boars crashed down the slopes, sending golden leaves flying with them. But this isn't easy work. Not every shot lands clean. These animals are tough, lightning fast, and use the terrain to their advantage. Every second demands razor-sharp focus. We stayed sharp, scanning the brush for movement. In the distance, one boar was already on the run, hounded by our tracking dogs. It darted through the trees, desperate to escape, but one clean shot from my rifle dropped it fast. More followed. It became clear that this forest was overrun with boars. With such numbers, it's no surprise they raid nearby farms when food runs low. The damage they cause isn't minor. It's devastating for the people trying to make a living off the land. As we pushed deeper into the woods, I caught sight of another boar weaving through the undergrowth. It didn't offer a clean shot right away, but I waited, tracked its pace, and finally took it down. Gunshots echoed around us. Other hunters were locking in too. These animals weren't hiding. Every few steps, a new silhouette emerged from shadows. In this kind of hunt, reaction time and pinpoint accuracy weren't just helpful, they were critical. We were riding high on the momentum of our success. The boars we brought down were nothing short of beasts, huge frames, thick hides, and menacing tusks. Still, I kept my focus steady. This wasn't just about the thrill of the hunt, it was about doing our part to protect local farms from destruction. Boars may be fast and unpredictable, but our marksmanship kept them in check. Each echoing shot was proof that we were making progress. By this point, I had already dropped several targets. The crack of gunfire echoed through the forest, spooking the rest and sending them into a frenzy, only pushing our adrenaline higher. I reloaded quickly, ready for whatever came next. Surrounded by barking hounds and the sound of leaves crunching under hooves, we watched as more boars surged through the trees. The action was non-stop, and this hunt was shaping up to be one we'd never forget. Hunting isn't just about the excitement, it's about responsibility. Each shot we take helps restore balance between man and nature, protecting crops, communities, and ecosystems. But this job requires respect, discipline, and a deep understanding of the animals we track. At Northwoods Pursuit, we believe in ethical hunting and real-world conservation. If you're passionate about wildlife management and want a front-row seat to the action, don't miss our upcoming adventures. Subscribe now and join us on the next hunt. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a wild and gritty showdown, humans versus one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet. These animals aren't just a nuisance. They wreak havoc on entire ecosystems and devastate agricultural lands. This is the gripping story of a farmer's uphill battle to protect his livelihood from an unlikely enemy, the wild boar. It might look harmless at first glance, but don't be fooled, this creature is a walking wrecking ball. Just this past fall, deep in rural Texas, cornfield became ground zero for an all-out invasion. Dozens of feral hogs stormed the land, and what they left behind wasn't just damage, it was devastation. These beasts don't graze, they plunder. With noses that can sniff out food from miles away, they moved in with their young, tearing through crops meant for harvest and leaving the soil looking like it had been through a war zone. In this story, we'll uncover how one simple misstep during planting season can open the door to disaster. When farmers don't take precautions, they risk losing everything before a single sprout breaks the soil. Wild boars are quick to seize the opportunity. They'll root up freshly planted seeds before they even have a chance to grow. Their heavy tracks are often the first sign of trouble, stamped clearly across the soft earth. And when they hit a cornfield, they don't nibble around the edges. They charge straight to the heart of it, tearing through rows like a wrecking crew. Corn isn't just food for wild boars. It's a full-course buffet packed with energy and nutrients. That's why they're drawn to it like magnets. These fields become their perfect hideout and feeding ground, offering both cover and calories. But what starts as a feast for the hogs quickly turns into a nightmare for farmers, as entire acres are leveled in a matter of hours. Across the U.S., wild boars are more than just a rural nuisance. They're a full-blown crisis, racking up an estimated $2.5 billion in damage every year. In Texas alone, during the peak of corn harvest season, the problem gets so out of hand that state agencies are forced to ramp up control efforts. But despite traps, fences, and coordinated hunts, the boar population keeps growing, and so does the destruction. For countless farmers, it's like fighting a losing battle, one field at a time. Sure, hunting wild hogs has become a favorite pastime for many sport shooters, but there's more to it than pulling a trigger. Legal restrictions and safety rules are critical, especially when hunting on private land or near crops. Hunters often lie in wait, moving quietly and taking careful aim when the animals let their guard down. Still, as thrilling as the hunt may be, it's only a temporary fix for a long-term problem. When wild boars tear through cornfields, they don't stop at the farm's edge. They often push into nearby neighborhoods, bringing chaos with them. Picture this, you're out for a casual bike ride past a quiet field, and out of nowhere, a wild hog bolts across your path, tearing through fences, brush, and anything in its way. These animals aren't just a threat to crops. They're a danger to people, pets, and property. While farmers have tried to hold the line with fences, traps, and deterrents, the results are hit or miss. Boars are smart, strong, and relentless, especially during harvest season. In some of the worst cases, entire teams of hogs have been known to decimate up to 50 acres of corn in a single night. That's not just frustrating, it's financially devastating. In a desperate effort to take back their land, some farmers have turned to night hunts right on their own property. But this isn't a job for amateurs. Tracking wild boars in the dark takes years of experience, a steady hand, and razor-sharp instincts. These animals move fast, travel in aggressive packs of 10 to 20, and don't give second chances. One misstep and they're gone. But the damage goes far beyond the fields. Wild boars aren't just crop killers, they're a full-blown ecological threat. They pollute water sources, endanger livestock, disrupt native wildlife, and even put people at risk. These invasive beasts will eat just about anything, from plants to small animals, even the remains of the dead. They're not just pests, they're a growing danger that's forcing rural communities to stay constantly on guard. Wild boars aren't just a rural problem anymore. They've been spotted digging through city dumpsters, spreading disease, and even bringing traffic to a halt as they charge through urban streets. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a growing crisis. The fight to protect our farmland, wildlife, and communities is intensifying, and the need for real, lasting solutions has never been more critical. But this battle goes far beyond cornfields. It's about safeguarding our environment, securing our food supply, and defending a way of life that's been built on the land for generations. So let's stand behind the farmers and ranchers on the front lines, because what they're fighting for affects us all. But wild boars are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Invasive species are wreaking havoc across the globe. Take Australia, for example, where an estimated 287 million feral rabbits have drastically transformed both the natural environment and farming landscapes. What started as a small population quickly spiraled into an ecological nightmare. And rabbits aren't the only issue. Australia has also been locked in a long-term struggle with other invasive animals like wild goats, feral camels, and European red fox. Many of these species were brought over by European settlers centuries ago, intended for food, milk, or sport hunting. But once they escaped into the wild, they multiplied rapidly, outpacing native species and upsetting fragile ecosystems. To keep these invasive species in check, the Australian government has approved large-scale hunting of certain animals. In fact, some farmers have found a way to turn the problem into profit, capturing and selling invasive species to help offset the financial damage they've caused. So while the thrill of the hunt might draw headlines, the real takeaway here is this: managing invasive species like wild boars and feral goats isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting farmers, and preserving a way of life that's under siege. Responsible hunting, guided by science and regulation, can play a role, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. As our natural world faces mounting pressure, awareness and action matter more than ever. Thanks for tuning in. And if you care about wildlife, agriculture, and the future of our environment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video. The fight is far from over. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines.